This presentation is prepared by Samina Khalid. It analyzes the data provided for reduction of risk fall and plots the risk-adjusted control chart. For my Teach 1 presentation, I have chosen question 2 from week 5, which states, nursing home and hospital administrator implement many initiatives to reduce falls. This problem shows how these initiatives can be measured and evaluated. Prepare a risk-adjusted control chart for data on falls in nursing home. This is the data used in this presentation. It includes the probability of risk of fall in 9 time periods, number of cases, and number of reported falls in each time period. To start analyzing this data, the first thing we do is count the total number of cases for each time period. Next, we calculate the observed fall rate, which will be calculated by number of reported falls divided by the number of cases in each time period. Next step would be to calculate the expected rate of fall, which is the average probability of all cases in a time period. Next step is to calculate the expected standard deviation. This expected standard deviation will be calculated in 3 steps. First step is to calculate the risk times 1 minus risk for each individual case in each time period. Second step is to sum the risk for each time period. Third step is to take the square root of risk sum. Now we are ready to calculate the expected deviation. To calculate the expected deviation for each period, take the square root of risk and divide it by number of cases for each time period. That will give us our expected standard deviation. Next step is to find the t-value for each time period. I use this t-table to find out the t-value for each time period. For time period 1, there are total 20 cases reported, so our degrees of freedom is 19. At 95% confidence interval, for degrees of freedom of 9, t-value is 2.093. A t-value for time period 2 is same as time period 1. For time period 3, number of cases reported are 18, so our degrees of freedom is 17 and t-value is 2.11. For time period 4, there are total 21 cases reported with degrees of freedom of 20, and the t-value is 2.086. For time period 5, the t-value is 2.093, which is same for time period 6. For time period 7, t-value is 2.101. For time period 8, t-value is 2.093. And for time period 9, t-value is 2.11. Now we are ready to calculate the upper control limit. To calculate the upper control limit, we will use the expected rate plus the expected standard deviation times t-value. Next, we will calculate the lower control limit. To calculate the lower control limit, we will have expected rate minus expected standard deviation times t-value, and this will give us the lower control limit for each time period. In Excel, I plotted the upper and lower control limit with the observed rate of fall risk. As we can see, that the fall risk in all time periods is well below the upper control limit, and as the time period goes on, the risk of fall have reduced even lower than the lower control limit. This indicates that whatever measures are being used to reduce the risk of fall at nursing home is working.